Before we dive into the video, a quick word from our sponsor, TradeStation. As tape readers, we rely heavily on TradeStation for their time and sales. TradeStation offers ATC students an account representative, zero commission, and a cash reward with qualifying deposits. Now back to the video. Hello and welcome everyone. This is going to be a student interview based on Onsite. So a couple announcements before we start. We're holding weekday night shift reviews. So every night we get together and review the trade of the day, and we have the vets that come in and also give us some insight. And those are free to everyone. If you have the time, definitely join that. In addition, we have our 1 through 4 setup trades on YouTube, so don't miss out on those. It's all free information. Nothing is paid, so definitely look into those if you're interested in tape reading. So this interview is going to be a fellow student of mine. He's been studying under Rich for a few years, just like myself. It's my pleasure to introduce Davis. How you doing, Davis?
Hey, David, how you?
Thank you for coming on. We've been students together for quite some time. We've been to a few on-sites together, the most recent one as well.
I know, and why do I have to come on the podcast right after Rich? I mean, that seems a little,
No,
you
I
know.
would.
No, it's all good. I'm actually thrilled to be on, and I think this is not only is this great, but the nightly reviews that we're doing and having the vets and Rich like actually get into our trades and what we're doing, telling us what they did and kind of beat their chest about it. It's amazing.
I was talking to Rich about this, and it's different than classes because in classes, when we're doing the live trading and live breakdowns, the student portion where students are breaking down trades, if students don't know, or Rich will, like, in the moment direct them towards the right answer. And with these evals and us presenting our trades live and through the recordings at night, it's different because he waits towards the end, which I think, like, something about that just it makes the learning a lot different when you wait to present everything that you thought was correct, and then someone shows you a different aspect or avenue that you never even thought of. I feel like that just, the learning hits different with that.
Well, and these are things that you and I, and I'm sure other traders have been doing in direct messages with Rich for, months or years. And now everyone has access to sort of the same conversations, which is unbelievable.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to get into a little bit of on-site material. And who were you as a trader heading into on-site? What were, like, your biggest issues, maybe some flaws you had, maybe something you wanted to work on? Just kind of give us, like, I don't know, what was your perspective going into on-site?
Yeah, and I have your questions written down so I can sort of refer back to them. But this is an interesting question because I still deal with it. And that's why I think it's important not just to go to one on-site, but every time it comes up, I'll be there. I'm a very eager trader, right? And I was much more so an eager trader. I had spent the last couple of years trying to put money into an account and get to the point where not only did I trust and know what I was doing with the methodology, but make a little bit of money when I was doing it. And Rich says all the time, if you think about money, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. And he's absolutely right. But that's what I have a tendency to do, is be an eager trader. And on-site, we talked all about, you have to make yourself available to the market and let the opportunities come to you. If there's not a market maker there, there's no trade there, you're not making money. No. Give me a moment.
No worries.
All right, sorry about that.
No worries. So your eagerness to trade, just to pull the trigger, or kind of define that for us. You're just out there. You see the volume. You're looking for the trades. I'm not sure what that kind of encapsulates.
Yeah, at Onsite, I explained it as trying to apply myself, sort of impose myself on the market. And if you're not following a market maker, that's another thing. You get around some of these traders in that room. If they are telling you that they are the best follower in the room, they're not even trying to impose themselves in the accounts that they're trading on the market, then who am I to be doing that? And that's what I got out of Onsite, and that's sort of what's helped me to lead into another question, is seeing them and sort of humbling myself in their presence I need to be able to do that in the market as well, and
Hmm.
just take the objective information that the market's given me, as opposed to some subjective motivation that I have, either to make money or be right or sort of have the better trade or the best trade.
So what does it
That's what I
mean
mean by eager.
Yeah. So what does it mean to you to be a great follower? Because that's the theme that we've got, but everyone still has a slightly different variation or definition of what that means to them.
Well, and so I was using some different metrics
Mhm.
before Onsite to measure how good of a trader I was. It was return per share, number of shares traded. And really what my metric is now, and what I've been setting up since Onsite, is a way of looking at how well and how good is my read on what the market maker, the person on the other side of the computer, is doing, and to what degree or how well am I following that person.
Mhm.
So if what he does on the chart or with the price action is perfect, and that's one of the main assumptions of what we're doing. Maybe that he's not perfect, but he's certainly right. And so if he is technically 100% right, how close am I following exactly what he's doing? How much am I in his head about why he bought here, sold here, got in, got out, or even went sideways? So.
There's a huge difference in like truly understanding the game plan of the market maker and just putting yourself in his shoes and creating a game plan off of what they need to do versus trading that. A lot of times we get to the point where you're trading your own price action, your own positions, your own P&L. So I think there's a huge difference. I think it's definitely difficult to align both of those to the point where you know exactly what the market maker is doing and then your execution follows suit to the T. I think that is a very, very difficult task. So for me, at least at Onsite, I think just matching those two things was my biggest takeaway.
And that's a good way to put it, matching those two things, because even before trade, and certainly this is another level of improvement or getting better, is knowing what his game plan is and then not getting eager
Hmm.
to make it your trade or get to the price target or have it pan out in those ways. We made the joke, I forget who it was at Onsite, but they said what you're essentially doing when you sit there and tap your foot and you're like, well, why is the stock going sideways? Why isn't it going to my price target? You should just walk into Goldman Sachs, knock on the guy's door, be like, hey, have you seen the market maker for Ravian Automobiles? I've got an appointment to get to, you know, and understanding that we don't have that power. We don't even want that power doing what we're doing. We're trying to be followers. Um, Let the other people lead. Let the people who are in Goldman Sachs lead and play it according to their game plan. That's the takeaway.
Yeah. And it's easier said than done, obviously, but that was just the biggest takeaway for every single person is just how to be a better follower. And I mean, I feel like with a lot of our journals and our night reviews, it's okay, we are being better followers, but how do we match our execution to that as well? I feel like that is such a difficult part. But in terms of Onsite, give me like maybe a quote or cocktail hour kind of idea thought process that really stuck with you and resonated with you as you left.
Well, and that Goldman Sachs joke was sort of a running joke all week, and even since we've gotten back all the inside jokes and things that we talked about in the really before and after classes, those find their way into sort of the common conversations or common vocabulary of the chat. And that Goldman Sachs one's a funny one. You know, more so than just a specific conversation, I will say that, and I've been to 2 on-sites now,
Yeah.
and seeing Doug and Donna and Nitesh and you and Rich and just all the different people that are applying the same methodology, and those are very different people. You can't know that when they're just a name on the Discord chat. But when you actually see them in person and you understand their lives and motivations are very different, um, it's more of a comprehensive understanding of, if they can do it, if this works for them, it can work for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really hits home. It's just it's a different level of belief that you get from seeing it in person. I loved Rich's example of having his hand on the mouse.
Mhm.
That was literal for me at Onsite. You know, a couple of the things, you were sitting right in front of me. So he'd come back and ask, did you just take that trade?
Yep.
And I blushed red, but literally there to look over your shoulder, sort of have hands on before, during, and after the market.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like that they don't talk about numbers, but when you hear some of the rumors about the numbers, you realize that you're getting high level information. You are getting coaching at such a level of not only prowess and competency, but care, right? There was a guy named John Maxwell used to talk about the care. You want to know they care, but also candor. And all of that is built on sort of knowing that they're competent. And that's just all there.
Yeah.
That's all there. So a little bit more direct answer would be maybe every time the vets say something to you, when you ask a silly question or you say something that's out of line, they care. So when the candor comes, and the candor being the directness, that allows you, if you're able to take their input, no matter how straightforward, direct, or shocking to you as it may be, if you can start taking that and using it to become a better trader. Vinny is a great example of this, right? Vinny's always the first one. He's like, I'll take the bullet. Like, just tell me what I did wrong. If you can do that, you can collapse these time frames that it takes us to get good at this stuff, and that's invaluable.
Yeah, it's just going ahead and asking the hard questions. I mean, you have to be wrong in this game when you start. There's no one that started off out the gate and just got everything correct. That's just impossible. And the vets, they've been through it all, so they've seen it all. So when we ask the questions, they kind of giggle inside because they struggled with them at one point too, right? And there's
Right.
always running jokes about those. But I thought an interesting point in yesterday's podcast, I asked Rich, what are the characteristics that make a successful professional tape reader? And it wasn't more about the person per se. Everybody has different personality in the way they approach the methodology, but it's just the sheer in depth of the psychology that they understand. And it comes back to how well do they understand the psychology of the market, psychology of the market maker, and psychology of themselves, because it's very self-evident that the veteran traders are very in tune with themselves and their own psyche, right? So when it very much translates to the market. So just seeing that aspect in person as well is not something you can totally see in person or online, through videos or through chat. It's not the same. So that,
Well, I'm a big believer in that, just in all ways of the world, but especially you don't think that's necessary when it comes to trading for whatever reason, and that's just not the case. I can literally mark on my sort of life timeline the changes in Onsite and the sort of attachment almost that I have to the group and the people that are in it.
yeah. And kind of like a last question, we don't want to keep this too long, but it's not a question I sent you. It's kind of one I thought of now. I definitely want to do another interview style after our next onsite in April. But what are your thought process and what are you really going to focus on going into this onsite? I know it can be surface level, like being a better follower, but like what specifically are you going to truly hone in on and become better at? And then once you get to the next onsite, what's going to be the next step? If you're even looking that forward.
Yeah, that's a good question. Hey, I didn't have that one written down, David. That's a good question. I will tell you the answer though, because I thought of it today and I just have to resume my conversation with Rich. He's very busy during the day. He's doing podcasts with you. He's doing just, on top of trading, teaching classes, all the stuff that he's got going on. He's got a family and everything else. So the one-on-ones that we've had at these conferences, that's what pops into my mind about having on-sites quarterly or semi-annually. Is the 30, and you and I talked about it. I walked out. I mean, I looked bewildered walking out of my one-on-one. I was like, I called it brain surgery. I call him Dr. Levis now, right? Because I walked out of there. I'll just tell you the story real quick, David, but
Sweet.
we had a bunch of them. right? Bunch of one-on-ones. We started on Friday and they ran sort of till dinner. So
Mm.
dinner time was after happy hour. It was leading up. So everyone had a couple drinks, and I'm thinking this is going to be kind of a nice and easy one-on-one. Like, hey, thanks for coming to Florida and da 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 da. No, no, we got to the nitty gritty of what I need to work on. And it's a much bigger conversation than we have time for now. It's a bigger conversation than Rich and I had time for then.
Mhm.
And so walking out of there, just feeling like he had sort of done brain surgery on me and sent me out with a new programming. Um, I need that again. I
Yeah.
need that time with him to be able to sit there and continue and keep building on that conversation so I can keep building as a trader. And certainly, we talked about this maybe even today, but my energy level and thought process, like sort of the pinballing of everything from the previous Onsite, it's now been nearly 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And I'm still coming up with insights and things that I need to write down. So any more than quarterly, any more than quarterly, I'll probably just be too jacked up to even, trade. But I do think that the conversations that you can have with Rich and certainly the other traders are things that will give substance and sort of steps to your trading career, both as a
Hmm.
person and a trader, because sometimes it's good to separate those.
Yeah, and I mean, my personal one-on-one was phenomenal. We sat out there for half an hour just breaking it down to the T. So yeah, I can see how you can truly use those one-on-ones as kind of a roadmap for evaluation down the road. Because I even remember my first one-on-one with Rich. It was me just being in the learning process. I just wanted to learn the methodology. Back then, I was just all about learning, and now I'm at a completely different phase where I'm trying to maximize everything I'm doing within the market. So it's interesting to use those as kind of a roadmap and guideline for down the road. But I do appreciate you coming on. I definitely want to have you on later on. We'll keep the progress rolling. So I appreciate you, Davis. As always, great conversations, and I look forward to seeing your growth as well.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Rich, most of all. I will close with this. I was very lucky, David, to have found Rich first. My dad is a financial advisor, and he's in that industry, and he's stock charts for decades now. And there were just a few things, few similarities that I needed to say, okay, let me give this guy a chance. And I have not looked back. Have not looked back and don't plan on looking back. I was very, very blessed to have been one and done in terms of my trading school search.
Yeah, I'm also blessed in that aspect where all I learned first was tape reading. So we're definitely on the same page.
We're one and
Awesome,
done's,
dude.
one hit wonders,
One and
baby. Let's
one and
go.
done. Alrighty, Davis. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks again.